Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harrison. We are back for another game from the EPL 2. This is a play all at 7. That's right, play all 7. This is the final weeks between the QSM Management Company versus the Mandarin Duck Squad. These two players have fought tooth and nail throughout the entire series to get to the final weeks, and their teams have come out on top. And it's the opportunity for these two teams to play for the final prize. On the top side of the map, playing as the French in game number 1, we have Optimus Prime, his opponent, KINGofOsmane. Also playing as the French, opting for a French mirror, is KINGofOsmane. He'll be playing his favourite colour, green. Coin start for both players. Both players going down for a market, one would assume, but KINGofOsmane is slow in dropping his market. In the middle of the map, we have both players working, picking up the treasures, picking up the 2 goats. But when I say picking up the 2 goats, it was actually KINGofOsmane who went in there nice and early, stole all 4 of those goats in the middle map. He's actually on the top side and is picking up a 80 wood treasure already. So KINGofOsmane, 4 goats and the 80 wood treasure. Big starts for KINGofOsmane. Be very happy with that. And it looks like he's actually incorporated that wood into his build as well. He has the hunting dogs, stops chopping, and that's 42 wood, I believe, and then got that 80 wood treasure. So great start from KINGofOsmane. The map looks fine. Coin mines on the right, coin mines on the left, and hunts everywhere because it's Kamchatka. But it's winter. It's the winter version. It's the winter version. Let's play on. Oh well. Looks like both players are ready and aware that this is the winter version. Not too much balance changes between winter and summer. It's not like there's the goats are on both maps. However, walling capabilities across the map are greatly enhanced now. Well, no, they're worse off actually, because you have to wall so much more if you want to do any walling. I don't think we'll see too much of that, and due to time constraints of today, and both players have already started, it's been 2 minutes, let us just crack on this game. And I think both players are, they're happy with their starts. Neither player's had a terrible start. Arguably, KINGofOsmane having a better start. And KINGofOsmane, again, another 85 wood treasure. He's rolling in that wood. What a great start for him. So KINGofOsmane is up in terms of food count. It's because he had that market down. Hunting dogs in nice and early, so the food has being gathered up much quicker. Clicking up the age up just before Optimus, but I think both villagers were having no idle time due to the the age up starting as soon as that villager finishes. But KINGofOsmane, though, extra wood treasures. He managed to get 85 wood as well as a 80 wood earlier. Optimus did get some food and coin, which helps up the age up, but actually KINGofOsmane's in a bit of a leading position, going for an earlier trade and posted result, and likely to chop less wood during transition. Already has hunting dogs, place mines is on the way, and we'll gather up the wood needed for steel traps. And looks like KINGofOsmane is going to be going for 25 wood and getting that steel traps either on the 400 wood or buying 100 coin, which I also think is a nice play, especially when you have 2 in-base coin mines. You're not short on coin. Freitag moving into Optimus's base, scouting out what's going to happen, does see the villagers on wood. I think King might be quite happy to see villagers still on wood at the moment. It does show that he's ahead in that early macro game. Villager 4 is trying to herd back, but KINGofOsmane, he's already been mining gold for quite a while, and you can see that his coin count is much higher. Okay, food is a little bit more closely balanced, but he did spend some of that food already on greatcoats, so nice to see an early greatcoats here. Likely to see stable openings from both players and hussars. The French mirror used to be a kind of a musketeer hussar play in the second age, but with a map, with a trading route going for the middle and access to train posts and more shipments, the semi-fast fortresses come back into style. King of Osmane going for a second training post in the middle of the map based on that great Age 1 he had. Barracks coming out from Optimus Prime. Yes, again, the only difference between the winter and the summer version is just the ice, so no sneaky docks this game, unfortunately, but apart from that, the hunts are the same, mines the same, livestock the same, everything else is the same, treasure set's the same as well. 50 XP from Optimus, quite nice there. He is down a training post, so he does need any bit of experience he can get. Optimus going 4 vills first, King of Osmane. 700 wood, getting steel traps on 700 wood, extra house down. He's going for an in-base barracks as well, so a slight variation on a Samwise style, but not Samwise build-esque. 4 Hussars in queue. I think King of Osmane with that 700 wood play is trying to go for stagecoach as well, otherwise going for 700 wood first. It feels a little... I don't feel the word slow is correct. I'm expecting Optimus to go 700... Oh, he's going 700 coin, so 4 vil, 700 coin, 5 muskets, semi-FF, maybe queuing up another musketeer just in case, but only 5 muskets out, and 10 musketeers could have been nice here to try and put pressure on the second training post, but if this is scouted out by King of Osmane, his native scouts nearby try and look for any more extra units. If he could see the coin, he'd be very, very happy with that, but this training post is safe. Couple of Hussars out in the open, going to go for their own raids in here. We'll see the low musketeer count, and King of Osmane will be sent in 700 coin very, very shortly afterwards, and that's much more achievable for King of Osmane because he has that extra trading post, extra XP. Raid coming in though. No way this villager can get back to the town centre though. 9 hit kill on these Hussars, and Greatcoats I think gives your villagers an extra 3 hits to resist Hussar attacks, so very, very strong upgrade, but doesn't save that villager this time. Optimus Prime about to lose a second villager on the tree line. That is a bit of a mistake there. Losing 2 vills is 5 Hussar raid when you have musketeers out to defend. That is a feels bad moment, and King of Osmane taking the early initiative so far. Bit of idle time, but Optimus will get up ahead before King of Osmane will, and I think King of Osmane is committing to the 3rd CDB kill here. We'll trade off a few Hussars, but 3 CDBs going down for King of Osmane in the second age here, no, for Optimus Prime. Well played from King of Osmane going for that raid in and picking up the 3 CDBs and trading 3 Huss for 3 French villagers. I'll take that trade any day. Optimus Prime is aging up with a scout politician. 4 Hussars aged up from Optimus Prime, and we never usually see the French player going up with a scout politician. I don't believe that was a misclick. He does have lots of musketeers, so maybe going for like a Huss/musketeer cuirassier transition in the next stage, but he's moving in to catch these other 2 Hussars. I think King of Osmane is trying to make the most of his raiding, but aging up before Optimus Prime. 2 train posts to 1. I'm unsure about this scout age up here from King of Osmane, and if this is scouted by... No, from Optimus. If this is scouted from King, I feel he'd be very happy with this. He just will know his Hussars and Musketeers, get a couple batches of Dragoons up, but then focus on skirmishers, and you should be in a good position. Skirm's being trained at home, does have an in-base stable, so it has a batch of Dragoons as well. Very nice to see a batch of 5 Dragoon, 5 skirmishers, 4 Hussars moving in from the Asian politician. No Musketeer reinforcements, but he's already lost 1 Hussar for, well, nothing. He's achieved absolutely nothing so far. Could even get sniped off by this Explorer if the micro is there, but that really is not too much. Optimus Prime, though, pushing in 2 Falconets. Well, no, the Falconets are at home, and King's seen this. Falconets at home. It will take a while for him to push. And Optimus is so far still pushing out with Colonial Musketeers upgrade not yet in queue. And there's Dragoons at home to fend off these Hussars, and Falconets are protected. Optimus is turning back, and this more of aggressive playstyle is not working. He's down 7 villagers. He's lost 3 or 4. I will check again. He's lost 3 CDB, but if you're aging up slowly for the Hussars, that means that town centre is working less in producing villagers, and so King has a much greater eco as well as 2 TPs. The shipments will be flowing much faster for King, and the push is coming in from Optimus Prime, and this is going to be, you know, the go time, but still, veteran musketeers not yet researched, more skirmishers out, does see the falconets. And this is going to be the big fight, I feel. I feel King is in a good position at the moment. Winning the Falc War as well. One Falconet going down. Skirmishers probably blocking from the Musketeers, already engaging. Musketeers are going to go straight in, trying to focus down this single Falconet, but both Falconets going down. Minutemen out. This is absolutely brutal, and I'm expecting the GG call any seconds now, and I'm seeing +10s everywhere. And that there was a very fast game number 1. King of Osmane dominating Optimus Prime in the first game. I feel that the 4 Hussars here, we can see with the benefit of hindsight, didn't pay off, and I think the benefit of foresight also seemed a bit of an interesting decision as well from Optimus, losing 3 vills early on to the 5 Hussars. You know, what's the point of making musketeers if you're not defending from the cav raid? But King, though, a good player, able to utilise his cavalry to the max. A few villagers out on the sides gathering just in case before that push comes in. Could have also gone for the goats as well, but managing to get full batches of skirmishers and dragoons out in the 3rd age, and was very able to defend, and was also able to unpack his falconets out of range of Optimus's, and just push in and pick up a falconet kill when he was able to. And once he won that falconet war, musketeers versus skirmishers was never going to end well, especially with colonial musketeers, and that first game's over. Just look at the villager count and you can see what I mean by the difference in strategies. Optimus Prime aging up around about 6.5 minutes, or 6 minutes 50. Loses 3 vills there, but not training anymore because it's aging up. Takes a while for him to train villager again once he gets to that 3rd age. But at this point, down about... well, he's down 6 vills at each point. 6/7, and that is massive in a mirror, and it just allowed King of Osmane just to make units in the 3rd age, and then eventually could just trade off. He won the fight heavily. If he didn't win the fights though, he had the better eco backing up, and over time could take better and better trades and eventually come back, but that fight was one-sided. I'm going to move on into the 2nd game. That first game seemed very, very one-sided. It is the CMC to pick first on Manchuria. Legal Penguin in the chat saying Optimus Prime is setting up the reverse sweep, so you've heard it here, you guys in the chat. 6-1 for Optimus Prime incoming, and I might need to get out some extra text files because the scoreboard only goes up to a maximum of 4 points. Haven't yet seen a best of 7, no, play all 7 game get up to 5, 6 or 7 points. I'm not expecting it to in any of these games today. However, there's always the possibility when one player is absolutely on fire and on that purple patch of form for the day, so we'll have to find out. Optimus Prime to pick first, most likely at the moment discussing with his teammates about what could be a safe first pick on Manchuria. Looking back at their previous series between Optimus Prime and King of Osmane, Manchuria was the first map in their Play All 5 series where the matchup was Spain-French. Optimus Prime playing as the Spanish, King playing as the French, but you know, King of Osmane has already played and used his French card or civ here, so Opti can go for the Spanish, but has chosen to go Japanese here instead as well. Japan feels a very interesting first pick. A few weaknesses. You can push in for a strong colonial push against Japan, or also go for stagecoach control and try and get a good fortress timing as well. That's probably the two options you have versus Japan. Multiple civs open for King of Osmane here, and in his previous series, well, in his series versus Optimus, French King played civs like Japan as well, the Spanish. He's played Ottoman. I don't think you'd want to go Dutch here in this matchup and on this map due to the yaks, the Dutch kind of works, but it feels like it's an equal civ pick instead of trying to go for a stronger civ pick. So Spain could be an interesting choice here. I don't think we'll be seeing Ottoman on Manchuria though. I think Optimus Prime is just restarting game. Yeah, some players restart their game every time due to a sound bug issue with one of the graphic settings. I have my V-Sync on so I don't get the sound bug, but even casting it's really annoying having the sound bug on, so I fully understand the restart there. We have a absolute massive day lined up for you. 3 play all 7 series at the highest level of Age of Empires 3 at the moment. So you guys are in for an absolute treat today, whether you're watching this series now live on Twitch, watching it back later on YouTube. But if you are staying here for the entire day or series here and there, obviously thank you for watching. Any support is appreciated, whether that's donations or subscriptions to the Twitch channel, and a lot of hard work's been put into this final day. Each of these series is going to take around about 3.5 hours, so it's a lot of casting going on. A lot of players, like, I wouldn't want to be a player playing a player with 7 at the highest level. It must be so stressful. King of Osmane known. Picking the Spanish civilization versus Optimus Prime. He did play Spain versus Opti's Portuguese and winning that game in his previous time these two players matched up. So King Osmane is a decent Spanish player. I like this pick versus Optimus, and we'll be ready to go into Manchuria once King has even built a deck. A sign of a true player who's prepared for their Play All 7 series. Yeah, nah.
Yes.
People joking about the IP check switching accounts. I didn't check if Optimus logged into the lobby as the Dutch, but you need to find the best player in the world to take on King of Osmane. He's been on fire after game 1. We are back in game number 2 on Manchuria. This is a Spanish versus Japan matchup. Opti losing the first game in the French mirror, picking the Japanese on Manchuria, dropping down an early consulate. This appears to be a food and wood crate start. King of Osmane though, Spanish War Dog, Margarita, pushed into the middle of the map, picking up some of the yaks, but it looks like King's stopped off for a big 85 wood treasure as well, and considering that he's chopping wood at this point and hasn't built a house yet, he's building a house now, but he has enough wood for an early trading post. He's going to the top side, scouting for the TP is the 2x2 layout, so I'm going to go for an early trading post in H1. A very nice start from King of Osmane. Not expecting advanced trading post play this game, unless he wants to try and steal both Optimus's back trading posts. I feel the standard Spain FF here is probably the order of the day from King of Osmane. Opti picking up 90 wood himself. King having a his secondary hunt nearby, corner hunt. Nice second hunt here for Optimus Prime. We need to remember he's playing Japan. His starting hunt's starting to wander off, and 3 hunts on the north side of the base. Appears to be a very balanced map for both players. Optimus Prime has found 4 yaks with explorers, but at the moment he's kind of scouting with the 2 explorers together, and he does have his cherry orchard. No, that's a yak. His cherry orchard out front, picking up the yaks. Does pick the other double yak spawn, so that's a nice big pickup there. King was close to picking it up, but went back for a train post instead. And Optimus is now picking up treasures in the meantime. Does he scout any other big treasures here at the moment? I'm not too sure if there's anything else on his side of the map he was interested in. 75 food and 45 food is actually quite nice treasures for the Japan player to take. We'll speed up the age up. 75 food is easy to take with 2 panthers, and 1 lion guarding 45 food is also a real nice pickup. 1 explorer is already back, shrining up these yaks. But I feel that you could just wait for the Toshoga Shrine if you wanted to shrine these guys up. That could be an early indication that it may not be Toshoga play from Optimus. We'll have to see what he ages up with. But you could go for the line. There's no more yaks out in the field, and you're not building shrines at this point. I know you could be looking for a big wood treasure, but I feel... Okay, he's found 140 wood down to the south side, but these food treasures are nice pickups for the Japan player. But now has the food to age up, especially with the Portuguese consulate, and it's going to be a defensive Toshoga Shrine on his back deer hunt. 1 villager on herding duties, but actually may pick up this lion. He's probably going to stay around and see if this gets picked up. Divine Strike could kill this lion at any point, and that could be the time the king moves in for the steal. He's actually moving for the steal at the moment, and he's going to sit here and just punch the explorer down with his villager, really. Nothing else you need to do. Divine Strike may come in for the lion. I think that's Optimus's, though. Yeah, Optimus does pick it up. So nice play there. So at the end, 4 yaks versus 3, but King did have 5 yaks at one point, I think. May have ate a couple of yaks there just to help his age up time and allow him to chop some wood during transition and go for that second training post by the time he gets that second age. Quick look at King's deck. Appears to be very standard age tree orientated. Triple cav cards. He does have infantry HP, which does give Rodaleros 20% HP as well, so slightly stronger, you could argue, than Han's infantry combat, plus 15 attack and HP, where actually it's the HP which you really need in those guys just to stick around a little bit longer, while other units like Falconets, Lancers do the damage. Spanish Gold makes an appearance here, and 2 shipments as well to contest the sea. King's playing Japan, and Japan players usually send 3 fishing boats as card number 1 on water maps. Hard to raid, but who knows, if King has many shipments to spare, sending 2 caravels to the water could be an opportunity for him. Let's check Optimus's deck and see what's going on for him. 2 Funes and the Atakabunes in the 3rd age. No 14 Yumi or Ashi in the 4th age. 1,000 coin makes an appearance here alongside 7 Vils. No Yumi Archer shipment in 3rd age. Apart from that, though, very standard deck. War Dog, though, getting some good damage off on one of these explorers. Does get picked off, though. That War Dog was trying to scout out what's going on. Does see the Toshoga Shrine and does see the Portuguese consulates. I think King is aware that he has time to age behind this. And aging it with the 700 coin coming first, now eating the remainder of the yaks just to get that food in queue. Currently has 1 villager still being produced, but once that comes out, can the age up. Population, though, for KINGofOsmane, 27 out of 20. Is this an 8 pike shipment coming out from King? And the shrine's being placed right next to his outpost, and Optimus would be in for a rude surprise when 8 pikes just come out this outpost and start sieging down shrines out on the map. I think KINGofOsmane has a good idea. There's a few shrines out on the right side. May not have scouted this one yet. Opti hasn't actually got a massive shrine count himself behind this, but a lot of shrines are already at home, nice and safe. And there we go, 8 pikemen out, sent to the forward outpost, and marching forward straight away. I think King wants to be in Optimus' base as fast as possible instead of sieging shrines out on the map. Going for the market first, villagers having double food, single, all-round upgrades already. 5 ashes coming out. Should be enough to push back these pikemen and wait for reinforcements. But 8 pikemans. I wonder what he's aging up with. I'm not expecting the sergeants at arms here, but that could be a possibility. No, aged up with the scout, so 4 hussars. You probably don't need the sergeant at arms here for another 8 pikes, because you already have pikes on the fields to siege shrines and cover your falconets. But KINGofOsmane looks like he's ready to go falconets first card here and just put the pressure into the Japanese player's base early on. Optimus Prime is going to go for cavalry training time by 5%. And to be honest, not really impactful treasure. You're not really going to feel the benefits of that, I mean, anytime soon, because you're not training cavalry, but soon you will. But 5%, it's not as big as you think. Does send 600 coin though, so looks like we're getting a batch of Ashis and Nagis. Only got 4 Yumis in queue, but we'll probably transition to Ashigaras afterwards. I think Optimus Prime is wanting to try and fight this in the second stage. Well, he sent coin, all villagers on food, but the fact that he's now queuing up 3-4 Nagis, he's playing in the second stage, and I think he's going to try and catch the Falconet time in here. Falconets need to spawn behind the outpost and in between the pikemen and the musketeers. Musketeers now fighting. Surely that Falconet shipment must be here now if he starts to engage at this point. Maybe he just needs to try and protect his spawn point as much as possible. Hussars coming top side, distracting the infantry. Is that shipment going to come in right about now? We'll have to find out. So there you go, 2 Falconets coming out, unpacking onto the units. Nice big volley there. 1 Hussar still alive snaring. Pikeman snaring as well. And Musketeers moving behind for good volleys. And those Falconets, that secondary volley there, 4 apiece. All these Japan infantry have now gone down. I think Optimus is commented in German about something about standing underneath a tower. And if my German, well, I don't know any German whatsoever, but that's what I'm guessing. Because Optimus has had a bit of a slap in the face there from the Spanish FF. And Falconet's out in the field, picking up a reinforcing Ashigaru. And he's following this up with a 5 Lancer shipment. Rodaleros may have been a nice choice here, actually, from King to deal with this Nagi switch. He hasn't seen any Naginatas yet. But heavy infantry is usually what he wants to cover the Falconets, especially when they're still alive. Minutemen coming out. This is the go time for Optimus Prime. He's now pushing in. Enough pikes and muskets are still in the field. Lancers reinforcing here, but actually these Naginatas can get a really big trade here. Musketeers need to go straight into the hand infantry combat. And there they do. Swinging their bayonettas and muskets around. But Lancers also doing alright versus Naginatas and will be able to clear the remaining infantry. Both Falconets do go down. That is worth to mention. Now Japan feels a little bit more safe than they were before, but reinforcing batch at 9 rods straight away. Shipments after shipments based on all his combat experience. This is the fact you've got rods and lancers together, now clearing up the remaining infantry. This is a great push, and the resign comes shortly afterwards. KINGofOsmane quickly up 2-0. 2-0 for the Mandarin Duck squad in this matchup. Dear oh dear, it's all falling apart here for the QSA Management Company. It's only 2 games. There's still 5 more games to play, and every game matters. Every game is worth the same. Every game is worth a point, a valuable point to your team. But KINGofOsmane appears to be a little step ahead above Optimus Prime, and reinforcing the fact that he defeated Optimus in week 3, 4-1. Stagecoach behind this as well for KINGofOsmane. The second TP came up during transition to the second stage. So stagecoach must have occurred after that 700 wood shipments hit the floor, and that is why King of Osmane ate all those yaks in his base. He just needed the extra food income to afford the stagecoach and the food lost while you're, well, I guess you weren't chopping wood because you're using that 700 woods at that point. Stagecoach behind this, tower forwards, barracks nearby as well, making musketeers and skirmishers, but that 9 Rodolero shipment at the end, really strong, and there was enough lancers still on the field to then team up with the Rodoleros for that finishing blow. But you were seeing that military population, that fight underneath the tower went pretty well for King of Osmane. Did lose quite a lot of units before that engagement happened, and a lot of Hussar HP, so if Optimus pushed in about 10 seconds later, it could have been disastrous. But pushing back, he had to retreat, had better eco, tried to push out there with Naginata to switch and catch the Spanish army unprepared, but 5 lances reinforced, and then eventually the 9 Rodoleros came in, at strong time to reinforce in a big fight, and Optimus Prime just couldn't reinforce as fast as the Spanish player shipment progression allowed him to do so. Optimus's eco much stronger, as to be expected, but eco doesn't matter if you're losing the military fight, and that's what happens in this game. Oh, Optimus went double 4 vills. No? Did he? Don't think so. Where were those villagers come from? What were they? Oh no, Bestiero, no, Portuguese fishing boat fleet, of course. Yeah, so he had the 3 fishing boats from the Age 1 shipment, and then the 3 fishing boats as well from the Portuguese consulate. And having an additional 3 boats from the Portuguese consulate and a 4 vill shipment, Optimus was so far ahead in eco, and maybe could have made the argument of actually going for the Portuguese Bestiero crossbowman instead. Kaiser saying that the game wasn't fully over, maybe hoping Optimus stayed in that game a little bit longer and made full use of his better eco. Kaiser playing for the QSA management company, maybe feeling a little bit disappointed so far looking at the rest of his team's performance, but this just writes the fairy tale for Kaiser to come back and 7-0 Maito to win the team tournament for himself and the rest of the QSA management company. Game 3 is on Iowa, with the Mandarin Duck squads to pick. Ottoman comes out from King.
Yes.
So we saw a Spain versus Jap on Manchuria, and victory is so far for King both time. Yeah, King. King has picked. Oh, wrong way around. I'm just making notes in the background just in case I forget what happens early in the series. Osmane has picked the Ottomans on Iowa. Otto hype. Is that for Optimus Prime to counter pick? Options could be. We haven't seen too many Sioux games versus the Ottoman. They featured quite heavily during weeks 2 to 4, but have fallen back out of favour. The Otto Miro is a possibility here. Could go Germans as well. Germans have a good shout on this map. 2 coin mines in base. They are only tin mines, so it's a little bit more difficult. But you can still go for War Wagons, Black Rider play here. Already played the French, can't do that. Japan is a decent. Is an option. It's not the best option, but you can't go Japan. Already played that yourself. Iro may be the other option. Optimus Prime is thinking of. So I'm expecting maybe a Iro, a German, or a Sioux. Last time these two played on Iowa, we had that funny game with the outer sync, unfortunately, but Portuguese was from Optimus. King was playing as the Japanese, but Opti had that massive Age 4 Portuguese timing push. Portugal could be an interesting civ pick on this map versus Ottoman, but it just doesn't feel very safe versus an Ottoman player who's already guaranteed a train post in the first stage. So maybe Portuguese ATP play here, maybe not the best idea. So Optimus is probably thinking about this pick from King. Current score at the moment is it's 11-5 in favour of Mandarin Nut Squad, so they're 6 points ahead. Yeah, 6 points ahead at the moment. That difference is starting to grow, and we'll have to revisit that points gap at the end of this series. If Optimus can actually win the next 2 games and draw it back to 2-all, I think that'll put the CMC's minds back at ease. But at the moment, starting to get a bit tense in the team bench at the moment, seeing their man down 2-0 versus KINGofOsmane, who's been playing really well so far. Brigadier versus Colonel. King is the higher ranked opponent at the moment, and it has been shown in these 2 first games. I've just went into the Twitch chat and saw Castette's come up with a random one-liner, which on its own seems really, really weird. I'm sure it's part of a conversation though, so I'm not going to mention that on stream. Wicked Cossack. Optimus taking 2 games now is looking very optimistic. Play on words there. What a lad. KINGofOsmane did play Ottoman against Optimus. KINGofOsmane played the Ottoman civilization up against Optimus's Prime's Spanish on High Plains, and he managed to win that matchup there. So Opti could go Spain and try and avenge that defeat, but Opti did play Spain twice versus KINGofOsmane, losing both those games. So maybe not wanting to play the Spanish this time. Also, we have a fan of KINGofOsmane in the chat there. Go back to the Twitch chat. But yeah, no, I'm expecting Optimus to come back strong. Optimus though, looking like he wants to play German. So yes, the German call is coming out this time, and I'm ready to go. And let's see if KINGofOsmane's ready to go. Right, we are loading into game number 3 between KINGofOsmane and Optimus Prime. King currently 2-0 up. Right, starting, second 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very interesting map spawn here. It is balanced, it is equal, but we'll require players to scout out all the resources are located in the two corners, the southern east of the map and the northwest of the map, rich in bison hunts and coin mines, but otherwise a very sparse map here. Not many resources. Wood crate start. King of Osmane going straight for the trading post. Trading post spawning on the southern side of the route, and King of Osmane gets here first and throws down the trading post before German does. I think Optimus Prime just needs to move on at this point. There's no point standing around and fighting King if you're not going to go for a trading post yourself. And King could actually just stand here and fight underneath the trading post, actually. Because if you do lose the Explorer, at least the trading post can revive you at some point early in Second Age. You don't have many villagers at home to garrison to try and fight back the German Explorer as well. But I suppose, though, bringing the German Explorer away from the train lines to lane his own TP, and Optimus Prime has now abandoned the early trading post, gone for the market, and hunting dogs as well. It feels bad that you've chopped extra wood for this to happen, just to get market and a house down after, well, not missing out on that trading route you so want as German early Age 1, and it feels like that is already given the balance of power in favour of King of Osmane. Also picking up a nice food treasure in base. 40 food is not insignificant, and that's going to help Osmane's age up time even better, especially with only having 8 villagers gathering the remaining food. Like, Optimus Prime has just sent his first shipment at, I believe... Well, he hasn't sent it just yet. It's still waiting. He's picked his deck. He's now just sent that first shipment at 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And King's shipment's been on the floor for quite a while. 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 3 settlers. Looking very tough. Villagers transition into wood. I think King's feeling he's in a decent position here. Agent up the governor, 200 coin outpost, but that extra bit of wood does signify that King wants to go for a second trading post, marching over to the trading post on the far right of the map, keeping his trading posts on the far edges of the map instead of going for the vulnerable centre, forcing Optimus Prime in the middle of the map as well. Optimus does pick up 95 wood, big treasure there, will help him get that trading post in transition, but he's still gathering bisons, and 2 minutes 57 seconds is time for the first shipment, and his starting hunt has left his base quite far actually. Has enough resources to click up, but really needs to herd this bison in as a priority. Yeah, and I was just checking the map again. Like, the map is balanced, but it's such a strange spawn. I had to double check myself. Optimus Prime is going to go for the far right TP as well. TP on the edge of the map is usually safer in the middle. However, just being captured by King of Osmane, 2-0. He was seeing the UI, but it's captured. He will now see his train post and thinking, oh damn, I'm going to have to move back to the centre. This TP again is so delayed, and that might even cost Optimus another trading post pass, and I don't think it will actually. I don't think it will be as detrimental as he may first thought, because the TP pass is only here. But if you put the TP pass down in the middle, he may have actually got that experience pass, but it's going to be about 5 minutes. 5 minute marking game when the German player's going to get his first batch of experience, and that outpost is going so far forward, and I like it. I also think it's a risky decision. We did see the Diaruga game where Diaruga managed to time his 5 Jan 4 Hussar shipments to the forward outpost when the outpost only had like 50 HP remaining. And the fact that you just dropped your outpost under construction next to an Explorer, it again feels unnecessary. You just put your outpost even a little bit further away, not even too much further, just doesn't need to be too adjacent, because you're giving line of sight to Optimus for everything you do. Right, 700 coin in base. King of Osmane has herded in his second hunt, so starting first, this is his second hunt. Optimus herding in his first and now second as well, but just the difference between the bisons as well at the moment, it's little differences like this. Villagers are having to walk forwards. All these villagers on this far bison will have to move back to the town centre and go for the other side onto these bisons, while King is just a great kind of setup here. All his resources in this little box, herding in one villager while these guys are gathering. Okay, not the greatest herd there, but it's still moving towards the centre, and even these bisons, they're close to the town centre, but even continuously focusing down these bisons underneath this town centre, very safe. And also, it protects Ottoman player from any Hussar raids, which we do see from the 3 settler wagons. First card, Optimus Prime, being sent across the map. KINGofOsmane, 24 population out of 40. That's not units being trained, I don't think. And that's 5 Janissaries straight to the outpost. Does have 3 Janissaries back at home being trained. That barracks could have been placed a little bit more forward. But I also don't mind the in-base barracks, because at least you get Janissaries at home to try and defend from Ulan raids. And it feels like if Ottoman gets up unaffected, TP going down for free from the German player, King's looking in a very strong position. Ulan's just waiting on the side. Maybe they're going for the villager here. Maybe they're just waiting for a good time to push in for the raid. But all the villagers, this is a house, and the villagers are all tucked up in this nice little quadrant. This field probably the most exposed, but we'll see any Ulan's pathing from the left side and has full map vision down to the absolute bottom there. So that's going to go in uncontested, and that TP down for Optimus Prime. He's trying to age up. 1500 food. He's 27 vil pop on coin. He's aging up with no coin crates. He's just going. He's going 3 settler wagon naked FF here, and that feels slow. And KINGofOsmane's in with 4 Hussars, 10 Janissaries, shipment on the way. Couple of Vils going down there at the moment. Vils, they do have their great coats, but yeah, that may have saved 1 villager life there. I think King realised not worth fighting his last remaining Vil there. 1 Hussar going left side, trying to scout if any herding villagers. 1 Vil running away at this point, but so much eco idled up, and there is no military building out on the map. Okay, villager rescued. That villager's going back though to gather resources instead of a side stable or whatever. Settler wagon's trying to fight. I guess he's got the Exile Prince just to get a shipment on the way, but it's not exactly any units to defend. Falconet's in already. Optimus Prime, he's only sent 2 shipments so far. He hasn't even sent a wood crate shipment. You could go 3 settler wagon, 700 wood just to help out a little bit, but that early TP play has been such in the favour of KINGofOsmane. It feels real tough to win this. Ulan's coming from a side raid. Janissaries need to move on to the Falconets to protect. Settler wagons come out to punch down the Falconets, but losing 2 or 3 settler wagons in the process. The return volley of the Falconets. This is going all wrong for Optimus Prime in game number 3 here. 8 Jans being sent. No veteran Janissary just yet for KINGofOsmane. And there you go, the 3 war wagons. But they spawn on top of the Janissaries. Like, he's trying to focus on the Falconets at all costs, but just in the range, these strong Janissaries and war wagons, they outrange these guys, but beating this close range feels, again, a bit iffy, and the resign comes out there, and that was 3-0. That was interesting. There was a lot of things to talk about that game, actually. It looked one-sided, but mainly because of KINGofOsmane's great play, picking up that train post straight away, getting, some say it's skill, some say it's luck, getting there first, but he did, and then went for the trading post on the right-hand side, forcing Optimus to build his TP in the centre, where he put his outpost. 5 Jans being trained, now being sent forwards to tear this down, where those 5 Janissaries being trained at barracks to defend from any Ulan raids, but no 2 Ulans were in the base at any time, so they moved those Janissaries forwards, sieged down the trading post, and then moved forwards afterwards. Crackseed subscribed to ESOC, thank you very much for the subscription. And then just an army of Janissaries, Falconets, underneath the town centre. And there was the Hussars from the age up from KINGofOsmane worked really well here. Snared a few of those villagers. About 4 population of villagers went down there. But also, a couple of hussars then out in the field while Optus was trying to send his 3 settler wagon shipment, just denied any stable being built. And I suppose you're not training any units if you have no resources to send, not even calling the Minutemen there. And that just went utterly, utterly horrible for Optimus Prime. I think he'd be very happy to move on to Game 4. Villager population, it goes up, and then back down. Very one-sided, that game. Look at all the resources though, it just flatlines as Optimus goes to the 3rd age because he's up so slow. Like, Optimus should not be that slow to age up behind KINGofOsmane, who, you know, aged up with the slow age politician. It feels like that should be much faster. Send the 700 coin, build a stable, you know, chop the wood for a stable at that point, and then have to get some war wagons going up, or send 700 wood, age up a little bit slower, but have that infrastructure down, all the villagers on coin and food, and get a couple of war wagons out. I think that was just too slow here from Optimus Prime, and Optimus dropping the ball in game number 3. Yeah, who needs a massive eco when they're all idle? I have to say, it didn't help with the trading posts. Like, the trading posts there from KINGofOsmane were, you know, you could say lucky, but if you're both thinking the same putting the trading post at the same time at the same place, it means that, you know, both players are right, but just one person was ahead. And even that second trading post, Optimus wanted it on the far right of the map, but King was there one step ahead, and that there is just the stiff advantage. KINGofOsmane aging it before the German to age 2, so could get on the wood earlier, and then at that point can actually get the train post down. And, you know, that's because Optimus went for the market play instead. He went market age 1 after realizing he couldn't get that trading post. And yeah, we haven't seen market play on Germans on 200 wood for a long time, and it hasn't worked out this time. That hunt spawn was Bering Strait. Optimus Prime to pick first as well. What would you go on Bering Strait? He last played Bering Strait. He went for the Japanese civilization. King played the Dutch, and KINGofOsmane won the Dutch versus Japan. But Optimus has already played Japan this series, so cannot go Japan on Bering Strait, cannot go French, cannot go German, and cannot go Japan. So let's see what Optimus is going to bring out here. Right, Optimus is back in the lobby. He's chosen to play as China on Bering Strait. I like this pick. China, in-base trading post, usually, well, it would be guaranteed on a wood crate start. Could also go for it on a not a wood crate start. There are enough wood treasures here to make a trading post viable, but you would have to build a village first. But in-base trading post, quite nice. KINGofOsmane already played Botto. Will have to change his matchup here. I don't think Dutch is going to be the pick from KINGofOsmane. He did play Dutch on Bering Strait last time. However, Dutch versus China is a balanced matchup at best. Most likely China favoured. Brit here could be an interesting pick from KINGofOsmane. I think that's a good opportunity. This also could be a good map to throw out the Japan before the Civ reset. A Civ I know KINGofOsmane is very strong and comfortable with. Kaiser Klein in the chat saying that Optimus could have snared that Otto Explorer and actually snared until the kill was confirmed, shall we say, and that way KINGofOsmane could have never snapped up that right hand side trading post, which then really puts Optimus in a very poor position. And you need to remember, you're playing as Ottomans. They only have a handful of villagers out at the start, so less TC fire to worry about. And if you put 9 villages in your town centre, well, you have no food income at that point. So the Ottoman player is kind of forced to decide either to town centre fire the Explorer or actually gather resources to age up. And maybe something players can think about is actually the Ottoman town centre in Age 1 is not really scary as a result. KINGofOsmane has chosen to play Aztecs to counter China, and this is a nice pick from KINGofOsmane, but no stagecoach ability here really for the Aztec player, so we're not going to see any 700 wood, 600 wood stagecoach play or 700 wood and just not mass units and invest into train posts and eco first before pushing out. I think King's going to be a bit more aggressive in this matchup and is up for Optimus to defend. We did see this matchup between B-Winner Minimolt. B-Winner did win it as the Chinese. There was opportunities for Minimolt to win it as well, so it's not terrible for either player. And expecting a fiery game here for game number 4. Ooh. That's starting 1, 2, 3. That's starting 1. That's a bit far out. 2, 3. That's the same as that or that. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, now this looks alright. Welcome back, guys. This is game number 4 between KINGofOsmane versus Optimus Prime. King. The King is already 3-0 up, pardon me, versus Optimus. It's not 4-0 just yet. It can be, though. This is the 4th game, and King, playing as the Aztec civilization, winning the previous game on Iowa as the Ottoman civilization, now going to Aztecs, and this was a counter pick to Optimus Prime decision to play as the Chinese civilization. A wood crate start, though. Village being thrown down and chopping wood behind this for a village as well. Was it a wood crate start? Let me do check it. No, it wasn't. It looks like Optimus, pardon me, has already got a bit of wood treasures going on. 40 woods has come in, so yes, he's been chopping all his wood he needs for, well, he's hoping to find a wood treasure, and he does. He finds 80 wood, guided by 2 tigers, so Optimus Prime going for the training post in Age 1 after throwing down the village. He needs that village first for the housing space, the 2 villager shipment, and to fatten up the goat. But what is this village location? Like at the high level games, I have to, comment that this location for a village is not a good location. It's not covering your coin mine. It's not defensive behind your base, and Optimus is going for a second village forwards. And okay, the fact that you have now 2 villages makes it better, because if you lose one, it's not too bad. But they're both forwards, and they're not covering the coin mine. And where do you place your Age 1 Wonder? Behind your TC? Super far forwards? I'll leave you guys in chat to discuss Optimus's career as a civil engineer or a town planner, but it's not starting well in Age of Empires 3. Big wood treasure again, though, being picked up by Optimus Prime. Already picking up 80 wood. King returning the favour, 95 wood treasure to the northern side. Now working his way on a 80 coin. But Optimus Prime, another wood treasure, could be enough wood to think about chopping for a training post in transition. And now with that 85 wood, I think that is more of a possibility, more of a formality than a possibility. That is only... Well, no, where's that wood gone? Is he going for a market? Not sure about the market, and he's herded the musketeer away from his starting hunts, and we'll need to herd them back. I'm not too sure there's enough food here for all these guys to continue herding. I can't click that deer, but this one's very low on food, and villagers will have to path around, and he's trying to move around so villagers actually can get onto it, but this is all good from Optimus Prime, and oh no, he's herding it backwards! If you're a fan of CMC, close your eyes. Aztec player stealing the training post in Optimus Prime's base. Aging up already. He's aging up with the Shaman Politician. 2 war huts being pushed forwards. Wonder being placed down at 3 minutes 40 seconds. 4 vills on it. I think that means you're going to get up at about 5 minutes and 10 seconds, but that could be way too late for Optimus Prime here, and he may need to send a shipment like Colonial Militia / Boxer Rebellion first in transition to the second age, or even go preemptive 9 Chang Pikemen or 8 Chuku News. But this has been an interesting start here from Optimus Prime. Herding, it's one of those things every game you play is herding, and it's a great skill to develop if you're on the lower level of the ladders, around about maybe kind of the sergeant, master sergeant, lieutenant area. It's just to work on your herding. Less walking time means faster age up times and better eco, and we're seeing this now. Optimus Prime is still aging up. King's been up for quite a while, and those war huts have been pushed forwards, protecting all 4 of his coin mines, so he's going to go for more of a protective stance here, protect his side of the map. Also protects his trading post, and he's actually pushing in on the front side of his 2 villages instead of pushing in where the Summer Palace is. That market's been up, but he's only got a 5% hunt upgrade from hunting eagles. I'm not too sure it's been worth it so far, especially in a matchup where the economy, it's not an economic war, it's about a survivability war, and then get him up to the 3rd age, or staying second at this point. He's going down a war academy, and he's may want to send 700 woods to try and get another village out and get the hunts going, but he's herding out far forward. So many villagers so far from the town centre have had to walk across. These musk ox has not yet been herded in behind this, and look at KINGofOsmane's town centre. Great herding here from KINGofOsmane. He's in the lead, but he's doing everything he can to stay in the lead, and a good economy back at home is what you want to get a good production of military units to your forward war hut. King is opening up with a 5 mace batch, 5 Puma batch, 10 mace Sultan shipments after the 700 wood. Double coyotes now being made. The mace Sultan is just great for absorbing town centre fire, and the fact that no colonial militia has been sent here from Optimus Prime, these maces are being two-shotted down and surviving town centre fire quite nicely. Cover mode Explorer to tank, but the Puma Spearmen are unchallenged just yet and currently sieging with no town centre fire on. These guys just said, okay, now the first fire coming in with 8 villagers in the town centre. A batch of Step Riders comes out as well as a semi-palace batch. It might be double trained batch from the barracks there, but going Step Rider Chuku Nu, but that second follow-up batch of KINGofOsmane were Coyote Runners, and he does have about 6 Coyote Runners out in the field and another 9 Mace Sultan shipment, but he's got another shipment on the way. He's just waiting for more reinforcements before pushing in. Training post absorbing fire, but no match for this massive Mace Sultans. Another village being thrown up, but as soon as that village goes up, that's a target for KINGofOsmane to knock it back down again. 300 export being sent. Redcoats in queue. So many Mace Sultans here. Not many Pumas. An argument for Russian consulate Siberian Cossacks could be made. Coyote Runners, next batch of shipment. Puma Spearmen not sent yet. I think King has scouted out this second village as well. And if you scouted this extra village, you kind of are aware of what's going on. But actually, there's so many units on the field. But if this village goes down, then Optimus is not just housing population blocked, he's really population blocked. 62 out of 70. Okay, Minutemen and the 9 Chang Pikemen come out. Great pop here from Optimus Prime. He's playing Colonial, but this is allowing King just to retreat. Retreat back to the war huts and fight under the cover of your 2 war huts. But has to try and fight off the Step Riders with his Coyote Runners. But once these Coyotes go down, these Coyotes can retreat and let the Maces do the work. And needs to finally the 2 as war huts. They're not actually engaging just yet. And 2 Coyotes being trained. Another batch of Coyotes on the way. You know what? Optimus isn't in a bad spot, actually. That's Explorer tanking up a lot of damage here. And now fighting underneath the 2 war huts. Those Redcoats have got some good value so far, being up and close and personal. And only a batch of 2 Coyotes, not what you really needed at this point. Needed more than that. But he's focusing down the remaining units. And it's just a few Chukanus, 1 Redcoat, 2 of these Keshiks, which are not great. But that Explorer still standing. Okay, Puma's coming out, 5 speed, snaring down a couple of his units. Chukanus, slower units, but having to be pulled back towards the base. And 7 Step come out from Optimus Prime. He's been... Optimus Prime's winning. How is this happening? How is he winning at this point? Okay, though, focusing down the Step Riders underneath the 2 war huts. Should be getting some good batches here. Another big batch of Coyote as well. Really good versus Step Riders. Focus these guys down before going onto the soft underbelly of the Chukanu. And especially underneath the town 2 outpost fire, can be quite strong. It's hard to see if these units are actually firing. You know, the war huts are firing, but they sometimes do miss, and they're not the best outposts going. I suppose they do still do the same damage, but these Step Riders tanking that fire as if it's nothing. And wow, Optimus Prime picking up the game there for the CMCs, and it looks like if you're playing China versus Aztec, play Colonial, get your units out, and from there push your advantage in the second age. And KINGofOsmane fell apart underneath that Chinese massive units, possibly going 10 mace, 9 mace first, as well as going for a batch of Mace Sultans from your very first batch of units. May have been oversight there. You're just lacking that siege to deal with those villages, and at that point -5 maces and +5 Pumas could have been a bit more effective. Nearly got Optimus housed, but actually Optimus was always in a decent population space to play with, so he was never stuck and couldn't send units. He always had that on the way, and that second village in Age 1 has played out very well for Optimus Prime here. Gave him that ability to breathe as he made units in the second age. Another batch of Step Riders, and let's look at Optimus's deck quickly. We Rat and Shields are available. Mongolian Scourgers here. I'm not too sure that's a great card to have. Could even have the Mandarin Duck Squad just in case. But 8 Chukanus were yet to be sent. Standard Army HP also in card which could be sent because Optimus had massive step and Chukanu towards the end and still without Chukanu shipments. No 600 wood though, had 700 food instead. I think the 600 wood may have been better. Also having Sager Herd on EP feels a bit interesting. EP maps usually really great in terms of resource distribution, so going for a 4 deer card for each of your village and town centres may not be necessarily needed, but 10 steps in the Third Age. Don't often see 10 step riders. Right, there is belief for the CMCs that the fight back starts now, and let's just go into Game 5. It's always nice to see games where you get told multiple times this is an unwinnable matchup, this is an unwinnable matchup, but then actually in the tournament at the highest level where it matters, players come up with builds to counter their opponent, and that is what Optimus Prime did just there. Came up with builds to counter King's aggression. Wasn't much eco behind it due to on Baron Strait no trading route available where you can realistically capture Stagecoach. He had the TP in the Chinese player's base, so he could have gone for his home TP, but Explorer was with his army to the north side. And then a 2 trading post Stagecoach, is it really worth the upgrade? Probably not, especially if you're at risk of losing your trading post to those pikemen step riders. No 5 ill shipment there at any point, and no 600 woods to help mass out, and it felt that King ran out of steam as Optimus kind of grew in strength, and then Optimus was able to push out underneath the 2 war huts and clean up the remaining units. New donation bar needed to be first. Ah, we have a new donation bar. Future ESOC events, $10 out of 1,000. Thank you very much, Malasite, for your continued support. Malasite there with his debut cast, as he would say, a couple of hours back. Do check it out. Guy's a legend. He's alright. Maybe not legendary status just yet. Something for him to aspire to and achieve to. But certainly one of those players who's been really enjoying the ESOC content recently. And this is a community funded by donations, by subscriptions. It's all any money being put into the ESOC community project is sent for running costs, but then also tournament prize pool. And these players aren't playing for the fun of it. There is money on the line. This is a tournament setting, and this is the final playoffs between the CMCs and the Mandarin Duck Squad. And that's the money comes from you generous, lovely people back there in Twitch chat. Last time these two civs played on Dakar, Portuguese from Optimus Prime, Spanish from KINGofOsmane. KINGofOsmane now going for the Ottoman pick instead. Had good success with Ottoman on Iowa this series, so going back with the Ottomans. But on Dakar though, Germany, probably not the civ you're going to pick here. Could go Portuguese, could go British actually. We did see a good Brit play between Minimalt and B-Winner. Optimus Prime though, relocking as China. Don't often see civs being played back to back, but this is a civ reset that is allowed. So King has picked the Ottoman first, and Optimus Prime has countered by staying as the Chinese civilization. Keister's asking in the chat, when is the I Am Turk versus Kaiser game? This is the most exciting one. Just downplaying the fact that Kaiser is playing Maito later tonight in a Playoff 7 to close off the EPL 2. Score is currently 3-1 in King of Osmane's favour. In terms of the team score, it is currently 12-6. Mandarin Duck Squad up 6 points compared to the QSR Management Company. Yeah, these are coin mines. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 elephants and in base hunts. 2 mines. Nice close hunt here for Optimus Prime, but map is absolutely balanced. We're going to hop into game number 5 between King of Osmane and Optimus Prime. Matchup is China versus Ottoman. King of Osmane losing the last game as Aztec taking on Optimus' China has chosen to go for the Ottoman civilization. Optimus Prime, confident in his Chinese ability, has elected to stay as the Chinese pick. He could have chosen any other civ due to the civ reset, but chose to stay as China. Pushing north with his explorer to get a bit of a lay of the land and see what's going on. Does pick up a nice 40 wood treasure. He throws down the village before going for the trading post, and I felt like he was having to rely on the fact he needed a wood treasure to actually get the wood for his trading post instead of, going north, going for the TP play, and then realizing, yes, I found a wood treasure. Now I can chop. Now I can stop chopping the wood needed for a village and throw down a village now. So same result, but just different way of getting there. Ottoman player dropping down his own trading post, as to be expected. Very common for Ottoman play going TP, regardless of the crate start and regardless of the matchup. Does pick up a nice. He picks up a tiger. Tiger actually could help out. Still early in the game, so a lot of treasures here to help contest. Tigers, though, very, very poor pet guardians. Only a 1.2 multiplier versus guardians, so not as strong as guardians like Honcho the pet bear or Gentle Pete the black bear, maybe the panther, jaguars. All those are much better than this tame tiger, which is very tame, let's say, in comparison to other pet guardians. Optimus finding 45 food, walks past a 50 coin treasure and thinks, thank you very much, I'll take that as well. King is just marching backwards towards other treasures, and that's why he scouted an 80 wood treasure early on, and that's probably the extra tigers there to help out with. He just knew he had time to get this treasure. This 80 wood is always going to be in his base for him to take, and it's going to be an easy pickup with the Tiger Treasure Guardian also just tanking damage as well. And that's a nice thing to do, is just tank some damage and just keep your explorer as healthy as possible. Age up from Ottoman already clicked in there. Quartermaster this time for the Ottoman player. Age up with the 400 wood. That wood will help him try and wrestle some sort of training post control on this map. A very critical feature of the map. Could also go for back to temple, but with Ottoman you don't really have the necessary number of villagers to really make good use of that upgrade. Does see the Chinese monk out of position though. Try and go for treasure contention, not going to work, but we'll try and pick off the disciple for it, and it looks like it's going to happen. This tiger does have a good speed stat and easily catches up to the disciple. And another train post being thrown down at this point from King of Osmane. Trying to herd back these elephants. One elephant being killed really far from the town centre, and I'd rather see just shoot the elephant, chop the tree, even if you're randomly chopping wood. Killing an elephant so far from town centre feels so awkward. It's so much food just to have out, decomposing straight away, while you still have all this nice in-base starting deer hunts, shall I say, or nilgays from Asia. 2 settlers move into the top side, and how many times have we seen China Ottoman on this map, where the Ottoman player is going to drop down a barracks and most likely a stable? That's what I'm expecting, is a stable and barracks play. Could go double barracks here, but you are risking yourself, leaving yourself open to Chu Canoe play. But King of Osmane is just going to go for map control with the 400 woods, as well as dropping down some buildings at this point. Barracks coming down as building number 1. Wood is still being gathered up though, so it could go for another building behind this. The Ottoman Explorer is in the base of Optimus Prime. Could move back and go for another TP. There's not really much here to see, to be honest. I think he's trying to check if there's going to be a war hut being thrown down by King of Osmane. And by that decision, he can find out actually what Optimus wants to do. He's not gathering coin though. This could be a big... Okay, he's now gathering coin now. 4 villagers. 6, 7. Yeah, that should be an indication of 700 coin first card at this point. Otherwise, are you just gathering coin for a barracks and standard army? You don't have the wood for it, and you would need a 700 wood shipment for that to happen. Barracks stable north side, capturing the trading route as well. On top of that, 700 wood shipment. So 700 wood first card from the Ottoman player in the second age. Going to move out and siege down his trading posts from the Chinese player, and it should be a very easy 4 TP stagecoach capture for the Ottoman player. But this gives breathing space for the Chinese player to safely get up to the next stage. And with 700 coin and many yaks fastening up on the village, a decent base to fund your military production in the third age. 700 wood, the next card for Optimus Prime. You need that wood for your infrastructure. Village, village, consulate, market, barracks, and play on from there. Needs to see what he's going to age up with. Needs to be the Skirmwander, and the Skirmwander is being thrown down at this point. Janissary is sieging the trading post. Hussars coming in to raid. Kind of would have liked the Hussars be held back until... Nah, actually, the Hussars out already, quite nice, but this could be an easy pike Minutemen here from Optimus Prime. Got to pick off one village though. And it's very awkward for villagers building a wander so far away from village support, so that's another thing to think about when you're playing China. Drop your wanders near your villages so you can garrison villas. But now actually fighting off the Chinese Explorer, I like it. You're trading off HP in this colonial unit before it actually ages up to the third age. It will get extra HP, but it's much less scary to fight this guy now in the second age than in the third age. Right, Janissary is finally joining the fight, but they've been taking down that TP for so long, and King's not actually capturing it himself. He's just moving that Explorer in with his Janissary mass, and I like that. If you're going to siege down that trading post, actually capture it for yourself. But that War Academy, deny it. Please deny it, and that has been denied. Now, finding the wood available to actually go for another War Academy is kind of awkward. Old Han army comes out from the Summer Palace, but village's been thrown down. Age Up Wander's been delayed, so the Age Up time's been delayed somewhat. And King pushing in 700 food. Then 3 Hussars to support as well. 1 Hussar actually scouting around behind the base, trying to find any side buildings. You know, King, he's looking for the consulate. He's looking for the War Academy. And the fact that he sees none of those should be such a reassuring sight for King of Osmane. This village as well is very unprotected. That could be a focus point for King of Osmane, but I think he just wants to try and focus down some of these Chang pikemans because they're just so vulnerable on their own. Very good with other units, but on their own vulnerable. Skirmishers come out from the Age Up. Hussars are chasing these skirmishers, and King was wanting to do the pike because he knew the skirms were coming out. And these units they're trapped. They're running towards the sea. There's a wall. Oh, that wall's gone up and gone down. Why is that wall gone? I have no idea. But Hussars out in the field snaring all these arquebusiers, and that Age Up bonus from the Skirmwander has basically been gone. Would have hoped to pick up more Janissaries for what he actually has achieved. Monk going down, no more AoE3 disciples, reinforcing Jans to the top side. No Minutemen just yet. Minutemen could be useful just to try and defend and hold out. Could have defended with Minutemen, the Chang Pikemen, the Arquebusiers, but if you're not at that Maito level of playstyle of quick wall in and protecting units like that, this is very tough to defend. That wood not fully gathered up yet, not being allowed to be gathered up, and I don't see another building being put down. Barracks, village, and once this village goes down, it'd be super tough to come back from. Changdaos do come out and actually make good contact with the Janissaries. Not too bad actually versus other heavy infantry. They have a high base attack with low multipliers, so they do pretty decently versus units like the Janissary if they're already up and close and personal and snaring. Has the population space to send another shipment if he has it available, but still with no barracks, no consulate. Okay, you can't afford anything for the barracks. He's now moving yaks off to try and eat his yaks. The resignation comes in very, very quickly, and that is super tough timing to hold there. Maybe a bit of walling could have helped and tried to really make a very defensive base. You could even make the Summer Palace up against the town centre, like adjacent, so you can't walk between it, and you have your ability to kind of teleport villagers in between the town centre, but the army has to run around these buildings, and that's the kind of level of thinking you have to go versus these super aggressive civs. (4-1) for the Mandarin Nook squad. 4-1 for King of Osmane, Optimus Prime after 5 games. 2 more games still to play. You can see all those units just pushing in and out at that point. 27 population, and that's when that first old hand batch came out, but they're getting picked off as soon as they're made. 9 Chang Pikemans came out just to try and cover the Arquebusiers, but they had to run away until the actual Arquebusier pop came out. I'm not too sure if Opti could have gone 8 Chuko Nu and then defend with both sets of Minutemen. So you have the Minutemen, Rifle, Minutemen, Sentries, your Disciple, your Monks, and then have the Chukanu and Arquebusiers behind fighting off the Janissaries. That could have been possible, but obviously you may need... you could have actually delayed the shipment of pikes just to try and time it with the age up, but you don't know when you're aging up because you don't know how idle you're going to be when making that wonder, so lots of timings to consider as China, but when you have so many units in your base, you're kind of thinking about the problem there and then, and it's really hard to kind of actually think strategically at that point. You're really focused on trying to not lose units. The villager, he didn't lose too many villagers. He lost 2 on the Wanzer, then 1 more. Okay, losing these, is it 2 at this point, 3? That's quite awkward. But afterwards, the reason why he wasn't losing many more villagers was because, well, they're all idle. Idle for a long amount of time. He tried to push out together some wood, but they got killed at that point, and then just couldn't do too much. And you're basically just relying on unit shipments at that point. But if you've already lost your military mass, it's just super hard to come back in. Another game where Optimus hasn't gone for Colonial Militia. Probably not the best call this game, because Colonial Militia, well, they do 2-shot Janissaries instead of 3 shots from the town centre. So instead of doing 90 damage, you do 135. And these Janissaries, base 210 HP, do get 2-shotted here. And could have gone Box the Rebellion, 700 coin, or no, 700 coin first, Box the Rebellion second, possibly. It's tough, because otherwise King of Osmane would just back off, get his 4th TP, and then mass behind. So it's hard to call there. It looked very, very tough. But King of Osmane making the most out of this tournament situation, pushing in with a strong mass, picking off vills, slowing the age up down, and picking off unit shipments as they came. Well played. Lumarco is the next map, and it's CMC Optimus to pick, and I'm expecting Opti to go for the Ottomans on Lumarco, a strong map for this civilization. Who knows, we could actually see the reverse matchup here. Otto versus China on this map. Both sides do quite well here. Kaiser Klein saying that colonial China would have defeated what KINGofOsmane was doing. Not too sure if I'm fully on that train there. Janissaries are very, very tanky units, but I suppose Chu canoes with a double multiplier versus heavy infantry and firing 3 arrows per shot, very strong counters versus Janissaries, and with other units like the Cybele monks, Summer Palace batches, and 3 unit shipments you can send, can actually do pretty well versus those Janissaries. And looks like Avis guns didn't come out at any point there for Ottoman, so it's just Janissaries and Hussars, which Old Han does quite comfortably against. So that's probably the play Kaiser Klein's referring to. Well, a bit of down. I'll do it after next game. But I don't want to predict a 5-1 or a 5-2 or something like that, or a 6-1, should I say? I don't want to be predicting scores like that. But A's scoreboard only goes up to 4, so I might have to add in some extra text files just to show you guys the full score. A's with the chat. I think Flamethrower and Keshik beats this, and in the crazy world of ASOC strategies, it does. In the practical world of tournaments and tournament nerves, no, it doesn't. Well, that's the end of the 5th game. 2 more games to go. I will take a quick break from the mic before we go back into game number 6 on Lumaco. Right, I am back. 5 games down. Osmane up 4-1. Mandarin Duck Squad currently, as we speak, 13-6 up. They have a 7-point advantage. So if next series, if they trade games now, so they each win 1 game, and then Le Castet wins 7-0 versus Jerry Muno, possible. It'll be even Stevens for the final series between Kaiser Klein and Maito. But CMC are relying on Le Castet to have a good series here versus Jerry Muno. They are quite comfortable with the fact that Kaiser Klein will probably win the series versus Maito. However, how many games he can win is going to be a bit of a challenge. Maito is a bit of is an opponent which Kaiser has lost before. I believe in the New World Championship back last summer, Maito did pick off multiple games versus Kaiser Klein, and in previous big tournaments, Kaiser looks so imperious during the entire tournament, but when it comes to the finals or later in the tournament, one bad performance, one moment of tilt, and it could transition into a massive uphill battle for him. So I'm expecting Maito to be well drilled, well rehearsed, and a good series to finish us off with. Optus Prime picking the British on Lumarco. There is no Ottoman counter pick available for KINGofOsmane. I wonder what King's going to counter pick into Brit here. It feels like, I mean, you can jokingly say that any Civ here is a counter pick, but Russia from KINGofOsmane. I like this option. It's a balanced matchup, slightly Russia favoured, but on a map where you can't really move out your base too often. Real tough for the Brit player to get extra resources if it's not controlled by Russian blockhouse and military. Tough game here for Optus Prime. Let's see what he can do. She's Brit, and the thing is Rush. Right, I am ready to go back to my Discord. Looks like the players are ready to go.
Are you ready?
And we're going to hop into game number 6.
Yes.
I think Optus is ready up, but maybe he's just quickly getting something or quickly going for a comfort break before he's starting. He must be feeling nervous. 4-1 down, 2 games to play, where each game is, you know, as important as the other. There's no, oh, this game's not as important now because I lost the series. Each game is valuable, and if you just get, and any extra points to help Lacassette and Kaiser Klein will be greatly appreciated by both of them. I'm not too sure if I've seen Lacassette in the chat today, if he's around, but if he is, I think the nerves may be starting to get to him. He's up next after this series. So Optus is now ready. I'm ready. We're all ready, but none of them are readied up. Kaiser Klein with the green up taunt there. And let's go. Right, let's go, guys. Game number 6 in a play or 7. Lumarco. One, two, three, fourth. Up to the prime. My 4th coin mine's very important. Not too sure this matchup here, but missing this coin mine topside is certainly unfortunate. It's not the first time I've seen that happen. May need to, shall I say, the person who created the map need to have a quick review on that. But if it's not all the time, we can just rehost. It's not a problem. But the rest of the map spawns very, very balanced. This coin mine in the middle did spawn as usual. No trees nearby. Sometimes you do see trees right on top of this as well, which makes the wall in this segment a bit difficult. But Optimus was entitled to the read there, and let's go again. The funny thing with maps like this picture on the top right, it always spawns like this, or should I say 90% of the time it always spawns with this kind of similar hunts, mines, and it's always mirrored down this middle axis here. Maybe the fish are not mirrored, but that's not exactly as important. But hoping to get a good spawn this time on the coin mines. Maybe Opti's saying that the coin mines are important. He could be doing some outlaw play. Maybe. I don't think so. But we'll have to see what he's got in store for us. Same issue again here, but for KINGofOsmane. It's that pesky northern coin mine.
Yes.
Yeah, Russia player doesn't really need 5 coin mines. They do have 4, and Russia's a Civ who's playing aggressive in this matchup. Could go for the middle coin mine. Reason why he doesn't want to in base black bear treasure. I think that was 3 black bears for 1 villager. That's so strong to find this, and King's instantly with the don't re. I don't blame him here with this one, but I have to inform him for map balance reasons. But I don't think Optimus will know about this until the actual treasure comes up. But an extra villager this early on, that's so strong. That is so strong as well. And there's also food crate start. Looks like no extra wood available for the Russian player. So perfect crate start really versus British, who's going to do 2 houses because of the extra wood crate, but couldn't go for a 3rd house. But perfect treasure to kick off the match from the Russian point of view, and sees an Incan treasure as well. If Optimus Prime is thinking of going for a trading post, he certainly won't be any more seeing that this native's been captured. And King, he's just going for any treasure he can find now, and he's just having a great start to this game. Needs to be a bit careful though. 2 black bears. He needs to kite again and then crack shot the remaining. I think the crack shot should be recharged. It looks like he's got the crack shot available. How he's moving his explorer, and yeah, the crack shot does come off, and now going for his own. Oh, where's that black bear? Let that black bear come back to you, and that is so smart from King. He knew the problem there. He actually went into hand combat, and it's easy for me to say what the best thing to do there at that point, but that was some good micro there from King. If he shot it from behind, that black bear could have ran out the circle, reset at full HP, and King may have lost his black bear or had to abandon the treasure for the time being, or just delay it, which could be risk of being stolen. Scout 70 food topside, and he's just going straight to the north. And 75 wood, also nice, but he wants the food first. He wants that food first, and he's going to start that food. That Incan though could help out. Lots of HP, but he's just scouting out the map. Crack shot comes in, back bear down once again. Optimus Prime go for a slightly earlier age up for the British, I believe. 17 vills on 2 manor houses. I think it's no, it's normal advanced time. King's going up with 14 vil normal. Yeah, I was confused because extra houses are present due to this wood start. Is it? No, another manor house down here. Looks like King's going for the wall down to the southern side. If he's going for a blockhouse down here, he's crazy. That's suicide. But no, he's going to wall off. He's actually going to wall the coin in on his own side. He's like, if I'm missing a coin mine, well, you can't have this middle coin mine. But 3 vills, top side. Blockhouse going down. No Minutemen here to help pick these guys off. And that could have been scouted. Very vulnerable. Russian Explorer is nearby to snare, and the Incan as well. So I think King has enough anti-Minutemen protection here to protect and ensure that blockhouse comes up. Optimus Prime, though, chopping a lot of wood, trying to go for a wall here. Hasn't finished that top side of the wall. He's trying to block off this wall down to the south, but it looks like it does get up. Does the siege... If he sieges this wall piece, that could tear down the entire wall due to the wall bug. Which is not really a bug, but it is a bug. Anyway, games happening in the thick of it in Opti's base. Standard Age 1 shipments here in base barracks and outposts on the Governor Age. Mine lots of coin here. Opti really wants big batches of musketeers here, but open up barracks in the face of your Russian explorer. Is this going to be 5 Cossack, 10 Strela opening from King of Osmane? He does have 3 vills in queue. Hasn't trained a musketeer. Going for a training post, and King of Osmane declines the option to go for a very aggressive opening here, but looking to go for 5 Cossacks still to get some map pressure, but gotta go for some trading post play behind. Market coming down. Market just been built. Looks like no text just yet, but soon to be researched. 5 Cossacks out in the field just to try and harass. 1 villager out in the open, but 5 musketeers nearby to try and defend. Oz, have a look where your Cossacks are going. Do not be cut off here by the musketeers outpost, town centre, and being walled in. But getting a good raid here, I actually would have backed off beforehand, but King Osmane knows where to hurt the British eco. He's pushing him with the Cossacks. 1 villager goes down, 2nd likely to go down, but he's trading off with these villagers. Lots and lots of Russian Cossack HP going down here though, so a calculated trade for Optimus Prime. 2 villagers for 4 Cossacks. I think that's a trade Optimus would be fairly alright with, actually. Late market though, no hunting dogs just yet. Did go for a few extra villagers from a few extra manor houses. And he's manor housed the left hand side, but he's not walled it up yet. That could be a tactical entrance point for King later in the game to push him from the southern side. So, starting hunt. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, this is Optimus's 3rd hunt. He's herded in both his 2 additional Guanaco hunts and gone through his starting one. But afterwards, though, this hunt is equivalent to this one over here. He had to push out and fight for it, and this would be a great place for a 2nd blockhouse. And one of those times where you might actually want to be playing Russia, a 4 or 5 blockhouse, base defense. Why push in when the Brit player runs out of hunts, when you can just sit on their hunts and just defend from the inevitable push outs? And if you have multiple blockhouses, just imagine a few walls as well, a few walls around, just to kind of protect, straight out some cavalry path in. It could be so strong. 700 wood comes in. Looks like Osmane is going to go for the TP trade route control at this point. Wood crates all gathered up. I'm not seeing where the rest of that wood has been spent, so it appears that Stagecoach has already been researched, and he's got full control over the line, so that other TP is not going to get stolen here. Then you can have wood income from the trade Stagecoach coming in, which would be quite nice. Hold up! Grenadiers on the floor from Optimus Prime. Grenadiers. Okay, Musketeers pushing out though. King hasn't really been focusing his military too much, but with enough musketeers here, 15 musks could defend quite nicely. But Grenadiers are already on the field there for Optimus Prime. King has sent 700 coin to home. Could have cancelled and gone for 4 Cossacks, but it was too late for that. This blockhouse is going down. Stagecoach is in though. I don't think you need to... I think as King, try and trade the best you can here. You don't need to overcommit though. I think you're in a fine position just to kind of let this go on. Surely there's a stable coming out somewhere behind this though. 1 barracks at home. No stable. 6 grenadiers out in the field, 2 more reinforcing, but all musketeers going down, and there's only a couple muskets actually. Musketeers can even go hand combat at this point. These grenadiers are terrible in hand combat, and they're currently sieging. Here come the Strelets. This is a great timing. Focus down the musketeers and then get into hand combat, and that will be the end of it. But another blockhouse coming up at this point. It's you have to play it much safer than this. You've lost that forward grip on your opponents, and unless you're confident that all those musketeers are going down, this is not going up. And 4 times damage to the grenadiers. This is getting down very, very quickly, and King needs to build back at home at this point. He needs to run. You can see King was hoping for the outpost there and the 4 Cossacks forward, but it's still open. I think this game is still balanced. I don't think it's over. I think Optimus is in a good position, but he's running out of hunts in base, and then will have to push out so far on the map for his next hunts. So good herding there from King, or good anti-herding. Needs to regroup. Has Minutemen availability. Okay, already called them a little bit early though. Really early, but... And double blockhouse at home just to kind of defend. That's okay though. King, 10 Musketeers in queue. Stable coming up behind this. These TPs will at least just delay Optimus from going to the base, but... Grenadiers are so expensive and they're so one-dimensional. They're anti-building, but apart from that, they're not great. And these Musketeers, not upgraded. Optimus has now sent 600 wood, so no coin shipment, no more Grenadiers on the way. Cossacks going for a raid. Yeah, actually, Russia's still in a decent position here, I think. Okay, Optimus is going for his own training post. Very smart play here. Going one apiece, I think it's fine. King will probably need to engage before Optimus goes for a second training post. But he's seen it now. He's going to go pick off the Explorer with his Cossacks. The army's not nearby, so free pickup there actually. But at least that just denies the possibility of Optimus stealing a second training post. This infantry army moving down to the other TP, scouted by the stagecoach as well. And this is actually just buying time for King to remass, and Grenadiers don't... Grenadiers, they do pretty good versus Strelets actually. They do siege damage. But even still though, Strelets will probably trade quite well versus Grenadiers. Team Infantry HP coming in for the Grenadiers and Musketeers. So these guys are very tanky, 230 HP, but I think there's just enough military here to really trade off well. Grenadiers, not great in infantry combat. Well, they are, but they're not at the same time. Cossacks coming in though first, absorbing quite a bit of fire actually. You see the grenades, they do damage, but not as much as you like. But the Minutemen have been absolutely torn apart. Cossacks engaging with the Grenadiers, and another big batch of Grenadiers, but here come the 5 Cossacks to the left-hand flank of this army. Strelets just tearing apart his Musketeers, and it's going in favour of KINGofOsmane here. It's going to be a close trade-off, but it's going in favour. Optimus has to back off here, but think about the bigger picture. Where is Optimus's food at the moment? It's out on the map. And where's Optimus? He's running home. He's not on the map. He's running home at this point. King throwing down a second TP, getting back on that line. And Optimus is starting to run low on resources in base. Stable coming up for Optimus Prime. Trying to get Hussars, go Hussar Musketeer. I think the Grenadiers are nice, but I think he over-made those Grenadiers. Minutemen being called. Time for KINGofOsmane to retreat. He's achieved what he wanted to achieve at this point. And he's keeping his lead while he has it. But damn, that Grenadier is strong. Look how far he threw that grenade. Again, wall southern side. No wall for Optimus Prime. This could be a tactical place for a gate and a Cossack raid, given that the stable's at home. Boyar's out in the field now. King is now pushing on to this final TP to go for a 3 TP advantage. Could actually quickly pick off the 75 wood if he's really feeling. He's got spare APM, but you just see like the hunts. Optimus is on a timer. He's had 3 Guanaco hunts, 700 food. He needs to control these hunts, and King with his TP set to wood could go for extra blockhouses. Here would be nice. Here would be nice. And just keep him close and just keep this map presence. He's not on water. You can tell that. And Optimus has to do something, otherwise he's going to have to break out, go for a mill. But he's pushing Osmane on the southern side, going for a base trade really. You've got so many Grenadiers here. Could do quite strong versus the buildings. But those blockhouses at home. Easy reinforcements and 700 food as well. Good batches coming in. Cossacks moving down to the south side. I don't think they want to engage first, but the army is not too far away, and Osmane's moving in here to back up the Russian player town centre. Quite a lot of these guys are 1 HP Minutemen. That is to think about. Strelets moving first could focus these guys off. 1 minute going down. Town centre fire could also work quite nicely. Not good versus Grenadiers though, but there's not many Musketeers here, and another big batch of Grenadiers is... Oh, it's just too many Grenadiers for this composition. It's not working, and these Cossacks are going to do so well. Musketeers in hand combat, but they're just going straight forward and being picked off very quickly by the infantry. not even have to micro because they're just closest to the Strelets Musketeers, and this is going to be a clean-up behind this. Those Cossacks, hard to... 5 Hussars coming from the other flank though. Not many Russian Musketeers, but more Russian Cossacks though. Great trade, and improved Grenadiers have come in. These guys, very strong versus buildings, stronger in range attack, but they're just not great. No upgrades in Hussars, they fell over very quickly. And just imagine, instead of reinforcing with extra 5 Grenadiers before that push, had 10 Hussars instead, or 5 Hussars then, that 5 reinforcing batch could have been strong. Okay, now he's pushing out top side though. He's got the time to push on the north side, but King sees this. I think he sees this. I think he knows what's going on, and he's going to go for his own, his own house, and then blockhouse. The resonation comes in. King of Osmane. 5-0 up. I need to add that in. Great start from King of Osmane with that early in-base villager treasure. Also, very correctly identify this 4th coins up here, not spawning. Not a massive impact in this game. It wouldn't have impacted Optimus Prime either. He hasn't even touched this forward coin mine or the middle coin mine yet, so... coin not the biggest issue in the matchup like this, but Optimus was out of hunt, had to push north, and the fact that he lost that previous engagement meant that there was military out in the field for King of Osmane and could have easily ran to the north side and contained and put pressure on the food eco, and then these villagers would have gone down as well. Good villager count from King of Osmane. Bit idle from one of the big engagements. Or just massing up at that point. I think he realised at this point, that's when he lost the blockhouses and actually realised I need those double blockhouses up, and then once I get those double blockhouses, I need to pump out double pump musketeers and then get another big batch of Strelets and send 4 Cossacks, and he went from 15 pop up to 52 very, very quickly, and that was enough to get the control over the British army, and then once he was stronger, could then continue villager production. As well as the TP line, remember, at the end, 3 TPs to 0, full control over the map and resources from the Russian player. Optimus Prime was suffocated and had to tap out. The British Grenadiers not doing the best today, unfortunately. The Grenadiers worked initially. I think that Cav switch should have come earlier. I know once you've invested so many techs into your Grenadiers that you kind of want to keep them going, but they don't really work versus fights. Like, they tank so much damage, but actually Hussars also tank a lot of damage. They cost the same, and they do arguably more damage than what Grenadiers do, or maybe just didn't have enough musketeers to back him up. All resources was very, very close, I have to say. Yeah, really good game there. Trading posts. Optimus did get on the line briefly, but actually sieged down and recaptured. So King did go for the TP line instead of Age 2 full on. Well, early aggression Age 2. Went for the map control and then played the map control game very well afterwards. A couple walls around your blockhouse would have actually been very nice, just delayed that push a little bit longer. You would have had 2 blockhouses a little bit longer, and it could have just helped you at that point. Right, let's hop out. We have Malasite with the twitch.tv/ESOC advertisement there. Thank you very much. If you guys can do this on RE, do it on vanilla. Let's get the word out for a big final day. We're currently at 300 viewers for 14 GMTs. Not too bad. Obviously, the peak time will be later tonight with Maito Kai's Klein. So let's spread the word. Let's get the games out there, and let's see if we can get a massive following for that final game. And whether the tournaments are still active or not, both players are at their prime of their AoE3 career. I'm expecting a great game for these 2 players. Even Maito reaching that major general rank. I think Kai's still at that general level, maybe back down to lieutenant general, but Kai's he's been looking so good recently. Ooh, that's big. Font, let's put down to about 70/40. Let's go for white, I guess. Copy. Oops. Yeah, it's about there, I think. So let's just reduce that size a tiny bit. There you go. I need to go back into the obs once the game's sorted just to check who's spawning which side. But there you go, the 5 has come out, and maybe I might need a 6th. No, I won't need a 6th because the series will be over. So yeah, not often we get to 5-1. Lord Raphael in the chat, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Hoping to see you in the next ESOC tournament. Actually, we're ahead of schedule. Currently, time now is 10 past 2 GMT. The next series is kicking off at 15 GMT, so maybe another 20-minute game here can take us to 14:30 GMT, and that gives us a nice break of about 30 minutes before the next series. Dual casted, shall I add, between Kaiser and Riot, off for the series of Le Castellet taking on Jerry Muno at 15 GMT. So 15 GMT, Le Castellet, Jerry Muno is up next. Yeah, Grens do great damage versus Musks and Strut as well, and probably do the same amount of damage as Hussars, and probably tank the same amount of damage as Hussars. Really, you know, it's hard to say why they weren't effective, but I think slow reload animation, blocking Musketeers from being able to fire as well, having the similar range as Musketeers is probably one thing. Hussars can snare your opponent, so if they're trying to retreat, you can just continuously snare them, and then your Musketeers, when you have more of them because you're not investing into Grens as much, you can push in and close that distance down and fight. The first 6 Grens, very strong, and have been super smart for a switch at that point, but I suppose you had already invested 250 wood into an artillery foundry, which is quite expensive. Tumty 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 tum. Come on, guys, let's go. Final game. Well, I suppose these two players have picked their civs. Final game is MDS to pick, and French has been locked in by KINGofOsmane. This could be a Japan counterpick from Optimus. Right, final game, Fraser River. The last game was won by King. It's going to be French versus Japan. Let's go. 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 4. Mirror maps. Let's go. Final game. 2 chariot orchards do spawn successfully. Optimus Prime. That's another issue occasionally with this map, but should be absolutely fine. 1 chariot getting thrown down straight away. This other chariot orchard about to move out on the map though. Do a bit of scouting. Right, guys. Final game here. We have KINGofOsmane spawning down to the southwest of the map, playing as the French. Currently 5-1 up. I will sort that in a second. Optimus Prime though, countering KINGofOsmane's pick into the final game with the Japan civilization. Great start. I missed a great start. I think it was just a single food crate, to be honest. Market coming down. Not too sure if that coin's been gathered up. Nope, no coin on the floor. So it's going to be markets, hunting dogs. Is that house anywhere? No, no house. Looks like he's going to chop the wood for the house instead of going for selling food and buying with coin. Has he found a wood treasure? Well, he's found a food treasure. That could help with any selling for coin, but nope. King's committing to the chopping of the wood. Probably trying to hope to find a coin treasure. We'll find 30 coins to the middle north side. Nearby treasures though. No wood up on this north side for KINGofOsmane. The 95s would spawn down to the southern side, as well as 120 XP, 50 food cougar, and 90 food, not 3 wolves. So big treasures down to the southern side. So that's where we probably see both players pushing over. Right. 5-1 for KINGofOsmane. Would he get the 6th? Would he win this final game? So far, it's looking not too bad. Position here for Optimus Prime. Double chariot in the back. This could be such a defensive place for Teshoga Shrine. Could be very, very strong. 8 elks as well nearby. And just protect it from up front. And with 2 shrines up front, that does suggest a defensive Teshoga Shrine behind your town centre. I'm not expecting Optimus to go for Torii Gates on a map like Fraser River, which is quite wide. Can get your shrines out of the map quite comfortably. But both players have found themselves fighting over 50 food, guarded by 1 cougar. Okay, here comes the fight, and real quick pickup here from Optimus Prime with this double stun and double Japanese monk for the quick pickup there. And we'll get actually the resources earlier for an earlier Teshoga Shrine drop, and there you go, Teshoga Shrine being dropped. No consulate though, so no cheaper wonder. The full 800 food was had to be spent to get that wonder up. Shrine's now back onto wood. Villagers now moving over to wood as well. Any villagers being produced from town centre go onto wood. And Japan players are going to try and shrine up afterwards, but not before getting a big 90 food treasure. Divine Strike helping out there. Could go for the stuns now. Stun both the wolves. Stuns also do quite a bit of damage. He doesn't see that the other wolf is still alive. He's probably clicking thinking, what's going on? And he shift clicked away. Has he not realised? He must see it now. Okay, he's now seeing it now. Stun comes up and should be a big Divine Strike. There you go, Divine Strike. 61 damage. How strong is that? Explorers now down to the southern side, working on the elk. 95 would pick up King straight onto the training post here. I'm expecting KINGofOsmane to go for a 2 TP stagecoach. That way you're not giving the stagecoach to your opponent's TP as well. And get some good early eco versus a slower civ like Japan. I feel that you have the ability to do that. And unless King's moving forward with a villager to go for some sort of barracks play, this villager looks like he'd just be herding at the moment and could go forward for barracks and bow pike. I'm thinking KINGofOsmane will be eco semi-FF with the stagecoach. First shipment sent from Optimus Prime. 2 villagers this game instead of the 300 wood. Steel trap's being researched here. Could throw down one house. Could go for another TP and stagecoach. Will just 4-wheel's being sent. No, 4-wheel's not being sent. 700 wood first for King of... No, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, 4-wheel's been sent first probably for KINGofOsmane at this moment. So standard play coming out from KINGofOsmane. Training up his 20th villager at this point. I don't think King's too interested in going for any... Well, he's got in-base barracks though. Is he going pikes? Not sure about this barracks play actually. I feel you just have time to at least capture that second trading post and then play off that then add in the barracks at a later point. Simply put, you're not contesting Yumi archers from a Japan player. I have to assume that KINGofOsmane had scouted that Optimus wasn't going for a consulate rush, as the Japanese player hadn't had the consulate down yet. Does have the consulate now. Could go straight into Japan consulates and get a big batch of Shinobi no Monos or Konsha Yamabushis out. We have to see which one he's going to go for, but most likely will be going to go for the Japanese isolation. And there we go, Japanese isolation. Unit attack buff increase as well. That's just such a strong passive ability from the consulate, is unit damage multiplier. Going for your text units being queued though. Let's see what's going up. 5 clubmen, and these clubmen are what you want to try and deal with the single trading post that Osmane has got. KINGofOsmane though, 700 wood, second card, training musketeers and a stable. So is he playing colonial? Otherwise his age up's been quite slow, and we'll need the 700 coins to get that age up in. And I think King's now positioning his villagers onto the foods, send the 700 coin, age up behind this. Do 10 musketeers though really make much of a difference versus what Japan's got? I'd have to say no. Also, it's not often you see Japan going for this many Yumi archers in the second age. King has now seen this, and these musketeers are running. They're running very fast. They know that he can't really engage musketeers, and I think King has to click up to the Fortress Age. He's committed to the age up here. But Optimus Prime pushing in with a massive Yumi archers and Konsha Yamabushis. Wishful thinking, KINGofOsmane going for a trading post now. That's not going up, and that's going to be thrown down very, very quickly. Can musketeers pick up a few clubmen before they go off into the trading post? Nope. Yumi archers focusing on the musketeers instead of the explorer, and yeah, no, I was a bit unsure about that trading post play at that point then. King is up. He's got the Exiled Prince. Has 2 more houses being made behind this, so it does have the enough house and population and the barracks and stable for production. Second coin mine though is far forward, and that hunt was never really herded fully into the French player's base, so we'll need to push out. Having said that though, Optimus hasn't really gone full greed eco behind this. 70 shrine pop, no Kami, no Portuguese consulate. And now that King's in the Fortress Age, I think King has the ability to maybe send Falconet's first card actually. Batch of skirms trained, you have Musketeers Protect as well, and I guess a Cuirassier in queue as well, and he has 3 cures. So 3 Cuirassiers in queue already, has more food available than coins, so could sell a little bit of extra food for a 4th Cuirassier if he needs to. But this first batch, very important. He needs to keep his Musketeers alive though before the reinforcements come out. There's no point training these guys off before reinforcements arrive. 1 Musketeer going down. Skirms out on the field. Konshas in cover mode, tanking then. King's not aware of the Cuirassier has been trained just yet. You could probably anticipate it if you know this matchup very, very well. But that first shipment has to be Falconet, surely. 3 Cures could also kind of work, but I feel not as strong as what a 2 Falconet shipment provides you at this point. coin has now been sent by Optimus Prime a second time, and looks like he's now aging up. No, he's not aging up. He's got Nagy's in the queue. Nagy's, Ashy's on the first coin, now Nagy's on the second. Optimus is staying H2. He's already got 5 Nagy's out on the field, but Naginatas versus veteran Kyosez, not great to be honest. And if those Falconets can pick off those Contra Yamabushis, then those Kyosez will be quite tough to deal with as well. That scout, I think that scout has seen that second batch of Nagy's as well. Seeing these Nagy's, though, can King really push out? Well, he hasn't got a shipment. He probably needs to do something at the moment with his Falconets and his power spike. Can't leave us any longer. Ooh, Falconets tagged in around Shrine. Not great. Okay, now engaging with the Nagy's with his cavalry. All the clubmen have gone down. He needs to body block his Falconets even more, though. 5 Nagy's coming in. The Kyosez are just tanking lots of damage, but it's going down very, very quickly. And I think Optimus is in a great position here. All that heavy cavalry already going down. Musketeers not blocking off the Naginatas. Both Falconets going down at this point. You've only got a couple of skirms. Okay, one more shipment on the way and probably reinforcement batch of skirmishers and Kyosez, but more reinforcing Nagy's on top of these skirmishers on their own. You're going to lose so many due to the snare, the lance bonus, and the Yumi archers firing from behind. This is already looking very, very tough. Villagers can be pulled into fight now, but no greatcoats, no blunderbuss. I think King is in a very tough situation. Maybe try and fight on with his remaining shipments and Kyosez batch. There you go, 6 Kyosez out in the field. Could be enough, but I think Prime is in a great position, you know, economically and militarily as well. Q is mining in between reloading. That's a micro play. Not super effective at this point in the game, but it's nice to see. Reinforcing Nagy's though, just to snare the Kyosez and let these infantry continue firing. And well, you know, it's actually not too bad. There's ways for King to come back into this now, but basically that massive push has subsided. There are still units out in the field, but XP has given King another shipment at this point. And a better shipment than 5 Ashies, which has just been sent by Optimus. Dragoon's nearly ready to pop, but not much food available for King at the moment. Still herding and hunting on the left side. Blunderbuss here would have been so strong, but understandably focusing on other units at this point. 5 Dragoons being sent as well. He's already gone through that 3 Kyosez batch. Fighting with his villagers and trying to chase down his Yumi archers. More Nagy's reinforcing at this point, and King has that Dragoon mass. He's also got 5 skirmishers and the CDBs fighting as well. This could be alright for King. Optimus does have 4 more clubs at this point, but I think King's holding out for a 8 skirmisher shipment before he can really feel comfortable in trying to push this. And I'm kind of surprised Optimus is not turning around and fighting this, but I suppose, you know, with more mobility, with the Dragoons, skirmishers picking off some of the units from range as well. You know, this, with good control, this could go quite nicely for KINGofOsmane. Optimus undoubtedly in the leads. Well, is he the lead? I feel that an H3 could have been and should have been on the cards at this point, but staying prolonged, sending 5 Ashy twice at this point instead of any upgrade cards. It feels now that the colonial play from Optimus is probably weaker than it could have been. Another 2 Dragoon batch, not too bad though. You have enough Dragoons to fend off Colonial Naginatas at this point. Very tanky unit still, but then focusing on the skirmisher play behind us. Still Skirmagoon being trained from KINGofOsmane here. I think he's right to not go Kyosez anymore. They haven't worked too much, and most of this army has been, you know, in Nagi and Ashi, which both do alright versus Kyosez. Nagi's not the greatest versus hand cavalry, but with a decent eco behind, they're also not the worst. Jesus saying that Prime is asking, is Prime in a prime position? And I think he is in a prime position at the moment. The eco's really in his favour. Does have to send 2 cherry orchards though, wherever they are. Oh no, they've both been thrown down actually, and was briefly had been idled from food eco. Looks like Nagy's going for a side raid. Will get scouted by the house though, and it's just sieging. All dragoons moving across to pick up these 2 Yumis, and actually now these skirmishers need to follow as well. They're vulnerable on their own. And 3 Nagy raid could get picked off here. Don't need to send all his dragoons back though. He needs to keep these skirms covered, otherwise this army pushing in going to be scouted by the scout. And what a good scout this has been, providing good amounts of information here from King. And it's safe for King to chase these 3 Nagys away with the dragoons, but don't want to leave these skirmishers in the open too long. 1,000 wood behind from KINGofOsmane. I think he's just going to try and go for TP play, because otherwise if it goes 8 skirm, yeah, you're trading off, but you're trading versus a better eco. You know nowhere to really kind of get in at this point. Need to remember though, Optimus on cherries instead of hunt, and has shrines with no cami on, so does make a difference. And dragoons nearby to keep. Oh, this it's not made just yet, but now it's been made. I think Stagecoach has been researched from this TP already. He was at 300 odd wood. That's all gone down while that train post had already been laid down. No extra production though. I don't think you need production. And the natives on this map are the Cree today, so no Cheyenne hunting, but does have good access to hunts with his force in the valley, and most of his CDBs are now in the lower valley anyway, so the Cheyenne bison shipment doesn't make sense in this game if it was the Cheyennes on this map. Just checking, it is Cree on the other side as well. Stagecoach does come in. King, if he's feeling really greedy at this point, Stagecoach to wood. Then go for the Cree TP behind us and make 5 Cree Cuirassiers. No, 3 Courier de Bois behind us, not 3 Cuirassiers. That'll be OP if the Cree can make Cuirassiers from the native post, but no, that's just me being me. Classic Harrison moment there, getting his words mixed up. Can't have combat in behind King, and is the age up coming in from Optimus at any point? It feels like an age up here at some point is, you know, is what you need. Get veteran Nagy, send Nagy HP, veteran Ashley or veteran Yumi, maybe not both. Shadowtech the Clubman. Get 7 Yumi on the age up, Golden Pavilion buff as well, but he's just training more Ashley Garrus on the Daimyo. Daimyo being sent. Optimus is staying pure age 2 at this point, and looks like he's going to go for the push in now. King's going to time his defense with a 5 Cuirassier batch. Native comes unscouted due to the explorers nearby. He does see that the army is on the way, and also Optimus knows that King knows this army is on the way. Now getting scouted out fully by the trading post. Lots of clubmen here though. Tough for Cuirassiers to smash in straight away. 5 Cuirassiers out. These Yumi archers though can trade alright versus the veteran skirmishers. Just imagine if Optimus had a Yumi attack as well. Yumi attack plus 20% Yumi archer attack, which is very, very strong. Ashley attacks plus 15. Okay, Naginata's moving forward. The drag box comes in. That sends the Nagis to the forefront. Cuirassiers comes in body block. Dragoons behind, also doing good damage. Cuirassiers engaging, but Clubmen are nearby as well. Clubs are going to absolutely take down his Cuirassiers very, very quickly, reinforcing Nagis. And it's just too much military here for KINGofOsmane. A few CDBs in the fight is also tanking. Great Coast being researched here, but Yumi Archer is so strong behind, firing. Daimyo support is too strong as well, not being focused down. Dragoons did their best. Cuirassiers try to hold off as long as possible. Optimus Prime with the Colonial Japan play. I think he's in a good position here to close this game off. Nagi's still on the field. Now the Dragoons are getting focused down by the Yumi and Ashi batch behind. Reinforcing 5 Cuirassiers. You'd never know. It's back and forth. And okay, Ashi's now in hand combat. 35 per swing. These guys have lots of HP though, and Skirmish is still in the field picking them off. And actually, Ashi goes go down very, very fast, and there's still been 3 decently HP Cuirassiers on pure Yumi mass at this point. All Nagis have gone down. Yutz and Q, 1 Naginata. Is that being trained up by the stable? I don't know. Maybe from the Daimyo instead, but 5 Nagis are reinforcing at this point. 8 skirms next shipment behind this. 1 QSS still standing. 3 QSS actually being traded at this point. And the reinforcing Nagy is going to be brutal. Those QSS are nearly on the field. I'm hoping they're nearly completed because he needs them now. May need to fight with his Cuir de Bois to tank as well. But actually inviting Optimus onto that plateau. These Naginats could get trapped from the QSS skirmishers. There you go, QSS being back trained. 5 Yumi Archers sent forwards to the Daimyo, but that's not an upgrade card. I actually think that King's in a decent position at the moment. Clean up the Yumi Archers to QSS, needs to engage with the Nagis. Has lost quite a few skirmishers though, but these QSS are not challenged at the moment. A couple of CDBs going down here and there, but these QSS are unchallenged. He's pushing out with 5 full HP Cav Combat upgraded units. This is so strong. It's just Yumi's nearby. You can even forget the Nagis at this point and just clean up everything. 1 Ashigaru reinforcement batch at the moment. Gonna get focused down very quickly by his skirmishers. Come on, says join up with the rest of these Yumi Archers. Try and focus on the Damien Mostada with the skirmishers. Low HP for that Damien now. It's Kyosei, go back onto the Yumi Archers. This is a prime focus point. Daimyo going down. No more buff from the Daimyo. Kyosei still high HP odds for the Yumi Archers. 2 high HP remaining. Reinforcing batch of skirms here. But the splash damage is absolutely tearing apart his Yumi Archers. And if the French player hadn't stabilised before, he's stabilised now. Could be some decent reinforcements though. Big batch of 10 Ashis on top of these villagers. But enough skirmishers nearby. 2 Nagis raiding right side. This is close. This is really close at the moment. But veteran skirmishers should be doing very good versus unupgraded Ashigaru musketeers. I have to say, so far this game's been a very impressive defense here from KINGofOsmane. Optimus's push looked very, very scary. However, please be aware that Optimus's eco behind this strong, really strong. Imperial bureaucracy on his villagers and lots of villagers out on the map. Could even send Fourville again a second time, but the remass is so fast here from Japan. He will need to send cherry orchards again. Both his orchards are about to run out at the same time. That's a bit awkward for Optimus Prime. All these guys will be onto the trees at the same point, and we'll need to send cherry orchards. Can King get another batch of QSS out? He does get another 5 batch. 3 batch of Dragoons as well, just to help out versus the Nagis. Still sieging down the shrines. Okay, he needs to siege his shrine to get access to more hunts instead of trying to deny the Optimus the eco. And 1,000 coin from King. 1,000 coin. This is a nice shipment. Behind, being massing off 5 skirm, 5 dragoons, 7 skirms sent now. Going to wall up this top side, prevent any Nagi raids while he focuses his army through the centre. 60 military population apiece, but the French army much stronger. Has to be said. No upgrade cards yet for the Yumi Archers and the Ashigarus. Nagis aren't upgraded. No Golden Pavilion support yet. No Daimyo as well. Remember that Daimyo's gone down. Now that he's pushing out, actually, you know, the war not being completed, a little bit of a bummer there for KINGofOsmane, but he's now seen, you know, what's going on, seeing that Optimus is still in the second age, and probably will feel quite comfortable with this, actually. Lots of CDB here to fight as well if needs be. Maybe not in just yet, but lots of upgraded Cav Combat veteran QSS. Not many Ashis here behind this. These QSS are going to do so much work. CDB is actually mine instead of getting back in top of it, and I'm seeing green plus 20s, 12s, 11s everywhere. This is looking to be a good fight here for Japan. Not Japan, French, pardon me. QSS still standing. Nagi's gone down. Only a few Dragoons. Did not overmake the Dragoons. Now Skirmishers trained very well versus the Ashigarus. QSS going down to the Ashigarus, but so many units going down to the Ashigarus at this moment. Skirmishers still standing behind this. Yumi Archers having to run away, and this war's been closed up. But I think KINGofOsmane doesn't care at this point. He's actually going to push through and try and pick off his Yumi Archers. A reinforcing batch of Dragoons, just keeping these guys company. And where is Optimus' prime eco? Yeah, he's now sent that cherry orchards, but all this time, no food. He's got so much coin and wood available. Reinforcements from Optimus Prime here is going to be very poor for a couple of minutes here. This is King's window to push in if he chooses it. He doesn't know about the food situation, but he's just waiting for reinforcements while sieging shrines and waiting for more QSAs. He needs these QSAs to smash in onto his Yumi Archer mass, and I think when another 5 join the field, he's got 4 in queue at the moment. That will come in. Could go for another trading post and set his TP to wood, but I think that TP is currently on coin. I'm hearing some sort of... Oh, where's that? Oh, it's in the base. I was hearing some sort of hand combat. I couldn't see it there. Yumi Archer's trying to move in and do some damage on the skirmishers, but skirmishers outranged the Yumi Archers in the Colonial Age, and outranged as well before where the bow shipment comes in the 3rd Age, and that's what Optimus Prime is still in the 2nd Age fighting. Big batch of 8 Nagi Nata riders, but you're waiting for more veteran Kyosers, and I think King can just go double stable at the moment. Hand Cav HP has now been sent for the French player. These Kyosers now 650 HP, very tanky. He's always sent his wood, so he can't send 1,000 wood, get the Arsenal and Cavalry Curious Tech, so Hand Cav HP, next best option, but it's the Cavalry here is going to win it for King of Osmane. Another stable could be nice. Starting to run out of hunts as well, and losing a bit of resources in his base, so King's got a little bit of time, but not too much time. He will have to pick his opportunity to strike, and when he does strike, he needs to go in and commit really hard here. But maybe he's going to get forced into the fight with that Nagi batch. Another big batch of Nagi Natas here. Damn, this is so close, but okay. That batch of Kyosers are now trained. They're all together now. Kyosers engaging Yumi Archers first. Nagi's at the back, though, not tanking. Ashy is not really fighting. They're still in range instead of hand infantry. These Kyosers getting such a great trade here. A couple of Skirman Dragoons still standing here, but this feels like it's a great fight here for the French player so far. Nagi's fighting the Kyosers. A couple of Nagis clicked on the skirmishers and absorbed some of this skirmisher fire, but that's been a great fight for King of Osmane. And has King of Osmane cleaned this up? He has indeed. GG been called. Optus resigns. King of Osmane 6-1. I have to say, King of Osmane 6-1 versus Optimus Prime. And let me do him the justice there by giving him the 6 exclamation mark. Because I can. Maybe we need AZAC's UI to give exclamation marks as well, but well played, King of Osmane. The QSA Management Company in disarray at the power of the Mandarin Duck Squad, and these Duckies, they finished second in the playoffs. They defeated the New World challengers to reach the playoffs, and everyone thought that the CMCs were favourites, but with God of Osmane defeating Optimus Prime 6-1. Is all on the Cassette and Kaiser Klein to salvage any chance of a victory at the moment, and both these players need to have positive series versus their respective players to have any chance of coming back in. Wow, that's a great game. Let's look at the post game. Couple of villager kills going down from King due to the early aggression from Optimus Prime, but he needed to fight with those CDBs really just to get some sort of a military trade, which you could say was arguably favourable. Reinforcing batches of 5 QSS though was the moment it just started to turn around for King. Quite a lot of its military population was crossing the map though, so it's not fighting all the time. Next big fight by the coin mine by the Kree settlement right side. 15 cavalry, 15 veteran QSS with the Cav combat up against predominantly colonial units with the Daimyo going down as well. Big fight. I think this is by the river, but just multiple engages there on. But that final fight, the army falls apart for Optimus Prime. Colonial Nagi is not great. Not many clubmen as well. He used most of his exports on previous batches, so no pure anti-cavalry units available, or not enough, but 650 HP cavalry cuirassiers, shall I say, while all the Japan infantry is so clumped up. Such a big fight there. Such a great trade for the cavalry, and King of Osmane taking 6-1 versus Optimus Prime. Japan Eco is so strong behind this, but It was only towards the end it actually seemed to be very, very scary in terms of the eco differences, but beforehand it wasn't too big of a difference between French and Japan. Always about 3,500 resources different. It was a big difference, but it wasn't huge. But then the quality of the reinforcements from King of Osmane were just superior to Optimus's. Optimus had big batches coming out. You can't deny that. They were lots of units, but with no upgrade cards. Daimyo gone down. Look at Optimus' deck. He has 20% Yubi Ultra attack, 15% Ashigara attack. Yeah, that Yumi Archer would mean such a huge shipment if he was able to send it. I also feel that there's a chance for him to go to the third age, but I think Optimus felt that age 2 Japan works really strong here. But King Osmane played out of his skin to come back in this one and then take the game. So I have to say, well played again to both players. Like it's tough playing an opponent 3 PR higher than you and a rank above you, but Optimus did get a game, and the game he did win, which was China versus Aztec, was really well done. But King of Osmane bringing home the goods for the Mandarin Duck squad. I'm sure his team manager Duck is going to be super impressed by his performance, and I think a lot of the AoE3 community just kind of sat up thinking, "Wow, good fight there, good series." So 6-1 Optimus